Hey there, what's up everybody? Back today with pickups video. And, usually I pick up about 10 to 12 games or so before I do a video, so, if I pick up any more than that at a time, the videos get way long. So I figured I'd do one now before, more games start coming in. But, recently I picked up a couple of things at my local recycle shop, and if you a recycle shop, it's kind of like hard off, but mine is not a hard off. All the hard offs are really far away from here, so what I got is a kind of local one-off recycle shop near my house, and it's not that big, and there's not a lot of stuff, but sometimes they get games, and so I go in every couple of weeks and see if they got anything new, and this time I lucked out because they had a lot of good stuff, so I picked up a bunch of stuff for cheap. So I'll show you some of that stuff and a bunch of other stuff too. But the first thing I got here is Akumajo Special, which is Boku Dracula-kun. So this is Kid Dracula for the Famicom, and again it's boxed and complete. The box is a little beat up, but the manual is pretty good, and it's got all the inserts and stuff too. So this was actually I paid a whopping 100 yen for this, so I have no complaints. Even the box is a little beat up, but this game is actually it's like a Mega Man, kind of like Mega Man, I guess, more than Castlevania, even though it's a Castlevania spin-off. But overall, it's a pretty good game, and it's a pretty it's not a cheap game to come by. So getting it for 100 yen is like a deal on top of getting a good game, so you can't really go wrong with that. But yeah, so Kid Dracula on the Famicom, and I also got this little baby here. This is Cho Makaimura for the Super Famicom, which is Super Ghouls and Ghosts, I believe, for on the Super Nintendo. And this game I had when I was a kid, so I played it a ton. And I figured I'd get the Super Famicom version because it was again 100 yen, and it's not the greatest condition or anything, but I figured I just wanted to play the game, so Cho Makaimura for 100 yen I couldn't pass up. And next, one of my favorite shooters, and this one is on the Super Famicom also, but it's one of my favorite shooters on this. It's probably the best shooter on the Super Famicom, really, in my opinion. But this is Area 88, and Area 88 probably is known better as its US name, which is UN Squadron. And this is made by a shooter made by Capcom, and it was great in the arcades. I remember playing in the arcade a ton, and they actually had this machine at my local comic book store when I was 12 or 13 or so. I don't remember, but I don't know, when was this game made? Could have been later than that. But Area 88 or UN Squadron, I used to be able to beat the entire game on about 1 or 2 quarters, so I've played it a ton. And it's good to have this again for the Super Famicom, Area 88. And again, boxed and complete for 100 yen, so you can't really, that's like $1.20 or so. For getting a shooter for $1.20 is like pretty amazing. So speaking of more shooters, I got another Super Famicom shooter here, Gradius 3, and again boxed and complete for 100 yen. Good old recycle shop. And Gradius 3, again, this is probably my favorite Gradius game. I know the later ones are probably better, but this one is my favorite just by virtue of having played it the most. I think I had this on the Super Nintendo as a kid also, and I played the hell out of it. So, it's good to have this one too. I think probably the later Gradius games are better games, but this one still has that nostalgia value for me, so glad to have it again back in my collection. Gradius 3 on the Super Famicom. So, okay, that finishes my pickups from the recycle shop, but I have a couple other things here that I got randomly at other stores. And the first one, another shooter for the Sega Saturn, and this is Gunbird. In Gunbird, it's not like the most famous shooter or anything, but it it's a pretty good shooter. And on the Saturn, getting a shooter for again 100 yen is a great deal automatically because shooters on the Saturn are universally expensive. It's rare to find any cheap ones, and Gunbird is no exception. It's usually a lot more expensive than 100 yen, but Gunbird has the distinction of actually having been released in the U.S. on the PlayStation as Mobile Light Force. And if you've ever seen the cover art for Mobile Light Force, it's ridiculous. It looks like Charlie's Angels. Like there's women kind of next to each other with guns, and it's just ridiculous. And it doesn't have anything to do with the game. There's nothing. It's not like a shooter. There's no. It's not like a third-person shooter or like Charlie's Angels like at all. It's a space shooter, I guess. But I don't know, some bizarre. It became a bizarre budget title in the U.S. called Mobile Light Force. There's also a sequel called Mobile Light Force 2 in the U.S., which is an entirely different game, and it has the exact same cover with the Charlie's Angels girls from the PlayStation 1. I don't know why. Worst marketing decision ever because it's nothing to do with the game. But Gunbird here is what I was talking about. So if you can find a copy of Mobile Light Force, it's a pretty good game. And it shouldn't be too expensive now, I don't think. I think it was originally $15 new, so couldn't possibly be super expensive now. So moving on to the PlayStation 2. I got two games here that I was excited to get. And the first one here is Kenka Bancho. And Kenka Bancho, you might know it. There was a PSP release of Kenka Bancho 3 in the US. So that one is Kenka Bancho 3 is the only one that's been localized. But this is the first one on the PlayStation 2. And I figured I'm actually going to start a playthrough channel, like a Let's Play channel. And I've already made it. It's already made. If you really want to search around for it, you could probably find it. But I have nothing up there yet, so I haven't told anybody about it. But once I get some videos up there, I'll put out a notice so you guys can watch my playthroughs, which I'll probably just do in English, not Japanese. So sorry, Japanese fans. But this one is probably going to be the first game I do a playthrough of on that channel, and it should be fun. It's kind of a goofy fighter, I guess. Not a fighter, but like a beat 'em up, so you can't really go wrong with a goofy beat 'em up as the first choice. So the next game was one I was surprised to find, and not because it's incredibly rare, but because I didn't know it existed, so I was pretty excited when I found it. And this is the Chikyu Boegun, yes, Tactics. So Chikyu Boegun Tactics is Earth Defense Force Tactics. So if you've ever played the Earth Defense Force games, they're kind of like a cheesy science fiction movie. Like you fight giant bugs, and there's a release on the Xbox 360. It's here. This is it on the Xbox 360. I don't know the English name. It's Earth Defense Force, maybe 2017 or some year is tacked onto the end. I don't really know what it is though. But Earth Defense Force Tactics I didn't know existed, which is it's a tactical RPG, I guess. I don't know if it's really an RPG. It's a tactical simulation game with Earth Defense Force. So I'm pretty excited to play this, actually. I haven't tried it out yet, but if it's as cheesy as Earth Defense Force, and from the back of the box it looks as cheesy as Earth Defense Force, it should be good. So glad to have found this game. You should have also, I'll talk about it later, never mind. So next we've got Tales of Graces on the Wii. So Tales of Graces, it came out on the PlayStation 3 recently, Tales of Graces F, which is this plus some extra stuff in HD. But that's expensive still in Japan, and this is not. So this is pretty cheap now, actually. I think I paid about $10 for it. So I've been watching Zero X Shinobi play through Tales of Graces F on his Let's Play channel there. So I've just been watching him. He's so slow at putting up those videos that I don't. Who knows? He's never gonna put up the rest, I think. So I'm just gonna play through this myself and finish the story, I guess. So I got Tales of Graces. The stuff from F is actually all I think all tacked on to the end of the story. It's kind of like an aftermath, and I don't really care enough to play through it again on F. So just gonna be regular old vanilla Tales of Graces for me. So, I'm not a huge Tales fan. I mean, I don't think it's bad. I've just, I haven't played that many. I've only played Vesperia at this point, so, you know, Tales is good. I'm not saying it's bad. I bought the game. Yeah. So next we've got, for the PSP, Disgaea 2. Now, I played Disgaea 2. I have it on the PS2, but I can't play Disgaea on the PS2. It's not that I don't like it. It's just that I don't have the time to sit in front of the TV and play it all that time. And the thing with the PSP version is that, I can bring it with me to work, and I can use it on the train, and I can get a lot of item world grinding in, which is mostly all I do in Disgaea is just item world, all item world. So I do a lot of item world stuff, and then just blow through the story afterwards, after I'm like super mega powered. I don't know why I do that. I probably should pay more attention to the stories, but I just like the item world. So I got Disgaea 2 on the PSP because I found it. The English version is way cheaper than the Japanese version, so I just picked up the English version, and playing through that now. So lots of item world grinding for me until the end of the week at least. And I've got 2 Xbox 360 games at the end here. And the first is another Earth Defense Force. So I got Earth Defense Force Insect Armageddon on the Xbox 360, and I've played through this already, and it's good. I like it. It's a lot like the other Earth Defense Force, the previous one, except it looks a lot better. The downside is that it's a lot shorter than the original. So if you've played the other one, Earth Defense Force 2017, I think, on the Xbox, or even the older ones on the PlayStation 2, this has a lot less content. It's a lot shorter. So, you play through. I think, for example, in the original Xbox version, there's 50 stages and I think 5 levels of difficulty. So you have, if you want to be a completionist, you got to play through it 250 times at least. And with Earth Defense Force Insect Armageddon, you have, I think, 3 difficulty levels and 15 stages. Maybe, I think that's correct. I think it's 15 stages and 3. There's definitely 3 difficulty levels. So, it doesn't have as much replay value, I don't think. Not to say that that's few. I mean, that's a lot of time. I mean, it's got a lot of replay value, and there's a lot of stuff to unlock, but it's not as much as the previous games, which is kind of disappointing. But it's still a good game, and with this one, which you couldn't do on the other ones, you can play co-op with other people online, which is cool. So if anybody has this and they want to try and, play the higher difficulties with me, that would be cool. So yeah, Earth Defense Force Insect Armageddon. Good stuff. And the last game here is a game I mentioned in a previous video about games I want that nobody else wants. And this one was one that's a Japanese only release, and it's kind of obscure. But it's Matching Maker 4. And it's really Matching Maker 4, I guess, 4. But the thing is, it sounds like it's going to be like a dating sim. And everybody I said, like, I'm playing Matching Maker, they're like, oh, you're playing a dating sim? And it's not, though. It's like actually like SimCity, but Japanese. So Matching Maker, I got, I don't know, last week, and I've already like almost perfected it. Like, I've almost got all the achievements. I played it obsessively over the weekend. I think I put like, I don't know, I played it like all day, Saturday and Sunday. I didn't have anything better to do, so it was just all Matching Maker all day. So I've been this game. It's simpler than SimCity. It's like a simplified SimCity where you can kind of also run around the town and interact with people. And what's cool is that there's lots of actual Japanese shops and like brand stores and stuff that you can unlock and use in your city. So it's pretty cool that you can do that. I think like it's mostly just like good advertising money for the game, but beyond that, it's fun to have actual things that you can see in real life. So you could kind of build relative versions of real places in Japan, which I thought was pretty cool. So I've been playing this and having fun with it, even though it probably could have been a download title. I mean, it's not a huge. It was a tiny install on my Xbox hard drive, maybe like 300 megs, and it's not like a very in-depth game. But I can see myself playing it over and over and over, just making cities like SimCity. I mean, you can't really go wrong with that. So, Matching Maker 4, good stuff. So that will end my pickups video, and of course I'm like way over 15 minutes at this point, so yeah, I'll end it here. But yeah, good stuff coming up, so definitely I'll catch you guys next time.